All right, my friends, welcome back. It is New Year's Eve. I don't think I've made a Christmas video in a couple of years, and I thought it was about time that I do so. I've just kind of lost track of it. But I have a little confession to make. It's not like Christmas evening, this is more like 1 o'clock in the morning on Christmas Eve. So anyway, despite what it might look like, it's very early in the morning. And I just thought I'd come out here when it's a little bit quieter and talk about a few things. Nothing real meaningful, I don't think. It might go there, but I'm not expecting it to. I don't think there's going to be any big takeaways from this video. I mean, Christmas has enough of its own written into it, kind of etched in stone from, last, a couple thousand years, right? So I did want to ask you what you're doing for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Leave that in comments down below. We're just going to go over to my father-in-law's house tonight and do some celebration over there, I guess, because I think he's moving to Michigan sometime early next year, and this may be his last time in that house doing that. And I think he's feeling a little emotional about it. And so that's why we're doing it over there, not at our house. And so I'll see my sister-in-law and her husband and my nephew and maybe my niece, I don't know, something like that. Sometimes spending time with family on holidays can be kind of tense, right? It's not always the most desirable thing, depending on how much you like them. That's why everybody loves National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, because it's highly relatable. Everybody struggles with certain family members. It could be brothers and sisters, parents, it could be in-laws, it could be outlaws, who knows? Maybe they're both. But nevertheless, I read a quote by Victor Borg, and here is what he said. I thought this was pretty funny. He says, Santa Claus has the right idea. Visit people once a year. Do you feel that way? I actually like being with people that I know and love. Even if they irritate me, I still like being near them and seeing them every once in a while. I'm not one to really write off people. I don't discard people. Now, everybody loves to talk about toxic family members, right? But I think it's a word that gets thrown around a lot. And I hope that maybe you can kind of see through some of the crap and still enjoy your holiday in spite of it. Just don't expect things to be perfect. And realize that there's a time when you may not be able to do any of that. Sometimes putting up with irritating family members is better than the loneliness you may feel someday when they start to dissipate, wander off, get married, have kids, live their own life, or maybe, other people just happen to fade away into eternity. And it's going to hit you one day. So I hope that you'll take the time to really appreciate time well spent with whoever, whether it's just friends or whoever. And so I guess if there's anything to take away from this little video, it would be that. Think about things. Think about the long game. I don't think we do that often enough. We're only concerned about how we feel right now in many cases, and we just hope to get through it and past it. But just try to enjoy every moment. Live presently, and hopefully that'll make a big difference. I'm down here on Lake Mirror right now, and it's a beautiful lake. I haven't made a walk around of this lake this year yet, and I really wish I had. I'll tell you what, the Christmas season is coming and going so fast this year for me personally, because I think that because there's been so many changes and so many things going on, that I don't know, Halloween and Thanksgiving whizzed right by, And here we are now, just a day away from Christmas, and I feel like I've hardly been able to pay much attention to it. However, I have the joy of looking back on many Christmases over the course of my lifetime. I had a pretty good childhood. I mean, there's some things I didn't like about it, but one of the things I loved about my childhood was all the Christmas specials that came on TV. You know, I loved watching Charlie Brown, Frosty the Snowman, what else? The Grinch Who Stole Christmas. All those. I loved watching all of those. And even well into my young adulthood, I watched them every year. Wouldn't miss them. Even the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving special, I wouldn't miss. But one of the ones I really enjoyed quite a bit was Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. So I read recently a little bit about the history. I say recently, I mean within the past couple hours. The history of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. It has that story really hasn't been around as long as what you might think. Look up here at the Lakeland Electric building. Okay, so Lakeland Electric is actually who I work for. And up at the very top, you see those lights, this Santa and those two reindeer, and you can see one of them obviously has a red nose. I don't know what the others do, but this has become, quite a fixture in Lakeland. And you know what? They just got those up. I mean, just a matter of days ago. And people were so upset. People in Lakeland were so upset that they weren't seeing them on top of the building, and so they would gripe about it. And they would go, on Facebook, they would gripe about it and say, well, I pay my electric bill. The least they could do is put up the lights. I mean, people act really spoiled and entitled about those lights being up, which is just nuts to me. But they had a simple explanation. That is, work was being done on the roof, and they couldn't do it right then. And they were probably trying to hurry up the repairs and whatnot, just so they could get it up and people would be able to see it. They are pretty. I think I remember when they first started doing it, but it was, now it's something that people expect. It's pretty cool. But Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Okay, so here's how Rudolph came about. I'm trying to lean against this little wall here, but if you can see it, I just don't want to sit on any bird crap because it's all over the wall. Okay, so back in 1939, a man named Robert May, who was a copywriter for Montgomery Ward, was asked by Montgomery Ward, the executives, to write a Christmas poem for the holiday season. So he came up with one, but he called it Rollo the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I had to really think about that. That's kind of hard to say. Rollo the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Okay? And he submitted it. The executives did not like, they liked the story, they liked the poem, but they did not like the name Rollo. So they asked him to change it. So he changed it to Reginald. These birds are loud. You hear them? Okay, I gotta focus. He changed it to Reginald because Reginald kind of preserved the rhythm of the poem. I think these things were all around me. Okay, so they preserved the rhythm of the poem, but he submitted to the executives. They didn't like that either, and they asked him to change the name, and he's like, well, I don't know what to change it to. He thought about it and tried as he might. He couldn't think of anything. And then his 4-year-old daughter gave him the idea to use the name Rudolph. That's where we got it. All right. So they did like that. And it became extremely popular. Montgomery Ward actually published it as a story, as a book, and it sold 2.5 million copies in the first season, right? And it wasn't until 10 years later, I guess 1949, when his brother or brother-in-law turned it into a song, and Gene Autry sung it for the first time. And we still hear it today, sung by Gene Autry. But yeah, That was it was 10 years later, and then in 1964 on I think it was the General Electric Fantasy Hour, I think that's what it was called. That's when they showed the Animagic, the claymation Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer special that we all watch and love. That's when that aired, and but anyway, the song Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer became the second biggest Christmas single. It came second to White Christmas. And over the years, over 100 million families have watched that show. The show about a little reindeer who's a little peculiar, somewhat peculiar, got left out, not only left out, but bullied, and saved the day in the end of the story. And there you go, there we have it. I love Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I mean, we can all relate to him. I think everyone's gotten bullied on some level, right? We all have these dreams, these fantasies of coming back and showing everybody that you are going to regret having treated me that way, because I was kind of like the Messiah of the story, right? That's what we want people to think. But some people get the opportunity to show that side of them. Some people never do. They just think about it and they relay their stories, and everybody wants to be Rudolph. Well, anyway, so like I said, a takeaway from all that? Probably not. I just thought that was interesting about Rudolph. The birds died down here. I don't hear them anymore. They just had to make their appearance. All right. I think that's all I have. I think that's all I want to talk about, really. But I hope that if you get on the road that you remain safe. It's a very dangerous time to drive. Oh, did you know, I think there's like 4 billion candy canes, or maybe it's higher than that, are produced every year. And National Candy Cane Day is December 26th. I don't know why you need to know that. I don't know that it will mean anything to you. I always get them in my stocking, but I never eat them. I like them, I just never eat them. And I certainly don't like I just like the basic candy cane, like the mint, peppermint flavored one. I don't like the ones that are different flavors. Forget that, I just like a traditional candy cane. But what are your favorite Christmas foods, snacks? I don't know. I think Christmas actually has a wider variety of delectables than even Thanksgiving, right? I think they do. And I don't know, I can't pick one. I went to the store tonight and I bought all sorts of things. I bought like an assortment of things that we just definitely don't need. Sweets, mind you, I have a sweet tooth. Sweets that will probably take me a while to eat, but I couldn't pass them up because I know that they're seasonal, right? I got these butter pecan fudges. Oh my word. The texture on the texture of those things are so good. If whatever you can imagine, they probably taste that good. It's so good. I had to stop myself at two little bricks. Hopefully I can forget about them before I get home, because I may be up all night eating them. All right. I hope you guys enjoy yourselves. Hope you enjoy the rest of your week. Hey, do you have the rest of the week off? I don't go back to work till Monday. What about you? All right, then we have the new year coming up. We'll talk more before then. All right, guys, have a great one. Merry Christmas. And in the meantime, be wise.